Right. And I just told the group, I said, you're gonna have to.
You're so good to me.
I have a
The meeting will come to order. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Mr. Yarrington, would you read it?
Yes, I will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
So moved.
Second to that?
Second.
All in favor of such motion, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Unanimously passes. Is there anyone on the list for call to the public? Okay, we have no call to the public, so the AADGB representative report, have you had a meeting?
We have not had a meeting, but we will have one next month.
Okay. And next, we have our Pinal County Governmental Alliance report, and I know Mr. Gibson had a meeting.
Madam President, I regret to inform you that there was a complication that rose before that meeting that I promised, and it has not yet
You
occurred.
didn't have a meeting. Okay, we will not have that report. So now, I would like to introduce those. I think most everybody here has met our lovely new president, Dr. Jackie Elliott. We are so delighted to have her here, and this is her very first meeting. So everybody give her a warm welcome.
Thank you.
Giving her report now.
Thank you very much. First, I just really want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the faculty, staff, community, Board of Governors for such a warm welcome and reception to CAC. Everyone has been so kind and gracious, and I couldn't have asked for a more warm welcome and openness of everyone at the institution. So I'm thrilled to be here. I think first up is a legislative update, and I've provided the board, and you all should have gotten that today, is the 2016 end of session report. There weren't any legislative actions that occurred after your previous board meeting with Dr. Moore, so I don't have any new legislation, but you do have the report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have on that once I really learn all the legislation in there. So I'm still learning. And so for the district update, I wanted to share a few things with you. Full-time student equivalent, our FITSE, is up right now from this time last year by about 1.4%. And as is unduplicated headcount is up about 1.3% from last year. So that is extremely promising. Currently, there are 44 Student Support Services TRIO program students. They started the Summer Bridge program on Sunday. And so they're here on campus. It's a pretty intense 5-day residential orientation to college, which prepares these students, these are new incoming students, for the academic and social rigors of college. The program, funded by the federal TRIO grant, includes lodging and meals and all supplies free to the students that are eligible. So we're really proud to have them on campus. The TAC grant will begin its 3rd year. I know you're all familiar with the TAC grant. And through this grant and the consortium of colleges, we're offering programs in welding, machinery, drafting, industrial manufacturing, and advanced manufacturing. And as part of the grant, we've been able to enhance the welding program by purchasing new equipment, hiring additional faculty, and renovating the welding classroom. And currently, we're looking at renovations underway for the machine shop as well, for the new machine program with new CNC machines as part of this, computers and software. The machine program will lead to a CNC and machining certificate, and then the welding program leads also to an Associate of Applied Science in Welding Technology and a certification in welding and pipe welding. Also this summer, 50 students from 2nd grade up to 6th grade participated in the Aravaipa Astronomy College for Kids for 2 weeks during the month of July. The college was very well supported by the community, by which over 100 members attended the award ceremony. And maybe this may contribute a little bit to the enrollment numbers for the Aravaipa campus are significantly higher at this point, this time this year as they were last year, and I would suspect that the Astronomy College may have had something to do with that and really showcasing that campus. The Signal Peak and Superstition Mountain Early Learning Centers received a grant from the Dollar General Literacy Program to establish a new literacy services within child care centers. Through this grant and the program, the centers are offering free story time to all community children ages 2 to 6. So this is a big enhancement for those communities. Our Farm Tech training and education program is in candidate status for accreditation. The American Society of Health Systems Pharmacists and the Accreditation Council for Pharmacy Education are the accrediting entities that we're in candidacy with. And once that goes through, our students will be able to have those licensures and certificates in those areas. We applied and received authorization from the Medical Assistant Education Review Board to add Superstition Mountain as a site to train medical assistants. Prior to this approval, our program was only trained at Signal Peak. So this expands that opportunity for our students. And it allows the students to sit for the CMA exam, which is highly regarded and preferred credential by employment. The STEM Compass Math Booth Camps were held at all of the campuses this summer, actually not at Santan, but at all the campuses except for Santan. It's a 4-day, 20-hour intensive workshop funded with STEM to help increase students' mathematical skills, which is important, especially as they're rising students coming into the college, and we want to ensure that they have the math skills necessary to avoid developmental education if at all possible. This is the second year the camp has been held at Maricopa, and the first year for Signal Peak, SMC, and ABC. And then we received some correspondences that I want to highlight to you as well. Are there any questions about district updates that I know I went through that pretty quickly, but a lot of that you were probably familiar with. Well, I was going to talk about Project Puente, but you're going to hear all about that from Janice, and she will share with you much more eloquently about that program than I can. We received 2 correspondences. One I'm particularly honored to share with you, and that is from the community college business officers, letting us know that Chris Wadka has been selected as the 2016 Outstanding Chief Business Officer, and this is a huge honor for Chris. So maybe we could give him a round of applause. And we received a student praise email regarding chemistry professor Diane Beecroft, and you should have all that in your book as well. So, yes! We'll get you a copy. You didn't see a copy of that email? We'll get it for you. And so congratulations both to Chris and Diane for their outstanding service and recognition. And now we get to do awards, correct? We have some awards for 10 years of service, 20 years of service, and 30 years of service. So we'll stand up here and do this and with Gladys and
Go down.
recognize our employees.
I recognize most of them.
I guess you can all hear me. I won't need the microphone. For 10 years, Denise Cardenas, Sports and Fitness Specialist Women's Basketball Coach. I know. Good. Congratulations. Jose Domingo Dagnino, Assistant Director of Financial Aid. Sorry, Jose. I apologize. And for 10 years of service, Wallace Kenny, Police Sergeant. Residential Life. I just have to say something. 20 years of residential life is a lot.
Well, I kind of wandered around city fairs for a while.
Oh, okay, so it has everybody. That makes sense. For 20 years of service, Muriel Thomas, Coordinator 3, Lifelong Learning. And finally, for 30 years of service and our sincere appreciation for 30 years of service is Cynthia Collins, Professor of Computer Information Systems.
We did.
You're not going to pull it out.
And finally, Madam Chair, we did not have any association reports this time because of the summer hiatus and the work was kind of on hold, so we'll have them next time. So and I think that wraps up my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, next on the agenda is Business Affairs Report from Mr. Watka, our own esteemed Mr. Watka.
Thank you.
You got a nice award.
Good evening, Madam Chair, governing board members, Madam President, Madam Secretary, colleagues, and any visitors that we may have this evening. Too many toys up here today. All right, 3 things this evening. The monthly budget report, the review of the college bids, and then I have an award I'd like to share with the board as well. So starting with the monthly budget, included in your packet are 2 reports. One is for the month of June, which is for the fiscal year end, and it is a preliminary report since we're still in the process of closing our books for the year end and again preparing for our auditors that will be on campus hot and heavy over the next several weeks. Happy to report that outside of some closing entries that we have, we're at 86.10% expended of the year. So last year, I believe we were about 93%. So this may be even less than last year in terms of our operating fund budgeted expenses to budgeted actuals. And then for your information is the first month of the new fiscal year, July of 2016, for your review as well in your packet. Any questions on the budget reports? Okay, thank you. Awarded purchases over $20,000. There are a number of them. Not having a meeting last month, so there's 28 of them. So bear with me as I go through these. First one is to Dove Labs LLC, Vienna, Virginia, for $25,000. That is the annual renewal subscription fee for the district. Second one, a Ford F-150 truck, Sanderson Ford, Glendale, Arizona, $23,240.66. That is a Ford truck purchased for the facilities department. Next one, hosting services renewal, Blackboard Inc., Washington, D.C., $127,769.53. That is the annual license and support to host Blackboard. Next one, Polycom HDX 8000 series, Solution X Video Conferencing Inc. of LA, California, $49,544. That is the Polycom annual license and support for the district. Next one, also Polycom RPCS collaboration server, also Solution Z Video Conferencing Inc. Los Angeles, California, 151,960.36. That is also to purchase a collaboration server and the license fees for the district. Next item, a 2017 Ford Transit Connect XL wagon, Sanderson Ford, Glendale, Arizona, 24,980.62. That is a new vehicle for the motor pool fleet for the district. Flooring installation in the quad units, Taylor's Flooring out of Mesa, Arizona, 30,985.76. That is to install flooring in a number of our units in Res Life in the quad units. Horse Shades, Ultimate Welding and Fabrication, Winkleman, Arizona, $45,000. This was to install some new shade structures in the rodeo area on our campus, SBC. Next up, Renovate BAS, Building M, Advanced Controls Corp., Tucson, Arizona, $27,268.92. That was to renovate Building M on our campus here, the controls for HVAC system to work properly with the Delta system that we have in place. Next one, painting, Building L, O, T, and U, A&H Painting, Glendale, Arizona, $138,699.82. That is the contract for services for the exterior painting of the buildings here on Signal Peak campus. If you've noticed, a number of buildings, we started the process right around graduation, the first week in May, and now we're down to the final couple buildings to paint it on our campus. Going to the next page, painting buildings A, B, C, D, walls and fence, A&H Painting, Glendale, Arizona, $124,281.78. This is to paint the exterior buildings listed at the Superstition Mountain campus. Security personnel for Santan, SMC, and Maricopa campus, G4S Secure Solutions, Jupiter, Florida, $363,000. That is to contract for the security services for those three campuses mentioned for fiscal year 17. Next item, 2017 Ford Interceptor Utility AWD Vehicle, PF VT Motors Inc., Peoria, Arizona, $39,649.80. That is to purchase the Ford utility vehicle for the police department. Software licensing, maintenance, hosting, deploy, implementation fees, campus management, Boca Raton, Florida, $2,178,363. That is the initial payment for our software licensing, maintenance, hosting, deployment, and implementation for the new ERP system that we discussed at the last meeting with campus management. Next on, annual fees, CollegeNet Inc., Portland, Oregon, $42,000. This is to purchase the annual service fees for the scheduling system of the district. Program Technical Support Services, $125,874.34, Oracle Corp., San Francisco, California. That is also to renew our annual license and support for Oracle. Cisco SmartNet Warranty License, Avid Consulting, Tucson, Arizona, $22,959.96. That is to purchase the annual license and support for the Cisco program. External Evaluation Services, the TACT Grant, MN Associates, $101,094.48. That was to contract for the external evaluator services for the TACT grant. Architect Services, Architecton Inc., Tempe, Arizona, $150,000. That is for architectural services for our Signal Peak campus. Pre-construction services, DPR Construction, $178,619. That is the pre-construction services for Signal Peak campus. Now page 3. Banner Maintenance, Lucian Company out of Malvern, Pennsylvania, $179,013.87. That's to renew our annual license and support for the banner. Blackboard Collaborate Web Conferencing, Blackboard Inc., Washington, D.C., $91,384.62 to renew the annual license and support for the web conferencing Blackboard. Athletic Accident and Catastrophic Insurance, Ascension Benefits out of Salt Lake City, Utah, $64,500. That is to purchase the basic and catastrophic insurance for the athletic programs for fiscal year 17. Heister propane-powered forklifts, 2 of them, Arnold Machinery out of Tucson, Arizona, $49,083. That is to purchase 2 new forklifts for the warehouse and the facility department. Maintenance agreements for copy machines, Ryco USA, Pasadena, California, $50,066.43. That is the annual maintenance plan for the copiers throughout the district. Technical support and DBA services, Campus Works Inc., Bradenton, Florida, $96,000. That is a purchase information tech and DBA services for the district. Lecture capture software, Panopto Inc., Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, $30,993. That is the lecture capture software. That's the annual license and support. And our last one, interpreting services, AZ Freelance Interpreting Services out of Gilbert, Arizona, $60,000. That is to engage in a contract for interpreting services for fiscal year 17. With that, I'd entertain any questions you have. Any of these purchases?
I had a question. Going back to the external evaluation of TAAs.
Tax grant.
Just say TAC.
TAC,
Thank
yes.
you. Okay. Who is going to be monitoring MN Associates on what they do? Who on campus?
I'll help answer that. Dr. Banks, the TAC grant is sort of under my jurisdiction, and Janice Pratt as dean is also monitoring it very, very closely. We have on this campus 2 individuals who also have high-level staff positions with the grant. One of them is the director of the grant consortium, and we're the fiscal agent for this grant. This amount of money is external evaluation for the entire grant, and we're in consortium with Maricopa and with Eastern Arizona and anybody else? Pardon? Right, several of the Maricopa campuses. So it's really quite a large grant, and there are a number of partners, and so that external evaluation pertains to what is going on with the grant as a whole and what's going on in each of those areas. So that is, and they do meet with all of us. They give us reports back. We all read those reports, and so they're actually monitoring us and making sure that we're meeting our obligations to the federal government under the Department of Labor. But we are getting feedback from them, and we're all meeting with them regularly. So,
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I had a question. Just a clarification, Mr. Waka. You mentioned the amounts off of our sheets. There's also a budget item.
Mhm.
And my real question is, let's say, just take the last one, the interpretive services.
Mhm.
The amount 60,000, the budget is 90. And I saw all these were under the budget item, but do we still have exposure for that 30,000, or does this line item get closed out?
It would be a available line item in case we needed more services. The 60,000 is an estimate for interpreting services. You never know how much you're really going to need over the next 2 terms. Hopefully it's even less than 60, if not a max of 90.
Great, thank you.
Other questions? Thank you,
Okay,
Mr.
well, one more thing.
Okay.
Doesn't this usually stick? As I said 2 months ago, who's in charge of IT? Okay, one last thing. I have a plaque that I'd like to present to the board, but let me explain it first. It's from the Government Finance Officers Association, and this is the news release that was issued a couple months ago. The organization is in Chicago, Illinois. The Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting has been awarded to Pinal County Community College District, Central Arizona College, by the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada, GFOA, for its comprehensive annual financial report, CAFR, for fiscal year 2015, last year. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of government accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by a government and its management. An award of financial reporting achievement has been awarded to the individuals, department, or agency designated by the government as primarily responsible for preparing the award-winning CAFR. This has been presented to the Fiscal Control Department of Pinal County Community College District. The CAFR has been judged by an impartial panel to meet the high standards of the program, including demonstrating a constructive spirit of full disclosure, to clearly communicate its financial story, and motivate potential users and user groups to read the CAFR. The GFOA is a nonprofit professional association that serves over 17,500 government finance professionals with offices in Chicago and also Washington, D.C. So I'd like Louisa to come on up here. My first institution 25 years ago, I kind of challenged myself at that institution to apply for this award and received it there. And then my second institution was already part of the program. But this is something that we discussed about 2-3 years ago, and when Louisa was hired, to say we'd like to aspire for this. It's a lot of work that took a couple of years of work putting together various tables and schedules in the accounting office. So not only Louisa, but all of her staff did an excellent job in the preparation and in the submission of this. And for 2015, and we received the award first time, with some comments back, but typically you don't see an organization receive the award the first time you submit it. So it is a very high honor, and I'd like to present it to the board. Louisa, to get into the photo op here.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, with the board.
What you say?
Oh.
President's fine.
Just the president.
Oh, well, I'm glad.
Okay. Okay, guys.
I didn't do anything. I wasn't there.
Granite or something.
That was very special, and thank you guys for getting it. Okay, we have next the College Affairs presentation. I think that is by Jenny Cardenas.
Hello, President Christensen, board members, Dr. Elliott, colleagues, students, and guests. My name is Jenny Cardenas. I'm the Interim Vice President for College Affairs. And to begin with, just to kind of talk a little bit about what Dr. Elliott had mentioned earlier, I'd like to share that although we've talked extensively in the past about the drop in enrollment that community colleges have seen nationwide, I can report tonight, as Dr. Elliott did, that albeit a very modest increase, CAC has seen a fluctuation from about 0.5% to 2% over the last couple weeks from this same time last year. So enrollment will continue to change over the next couple weeks as we start school, but this is very positive news that I wanted to share with the college community. One process improvement that we believe has had a positive impact on this is a call campaign to all students who were on the verge of being dropped for non-payment, a process that the college calls the purge, which, interesting name, huh? That's not the noise that goes off when you get purged or anything. It fits, though. Thank you. The first 2 weeks of the purge, the college was able to reach out to and retain over 500 students that would have potentially been purged from their courses and either had to come back and re-enroll or that we might have potentially lost as students. So we'll continue to look for additional ways, and we're always on the lookout for additional ways that we can improve processes for the success of our students. And now what we're here to listen to. Research tells us that students of all ages who are engaged in activities at the college they attend are more likely to be retained and to reach their academic goals. And many times we think of this engagement as being involvement in clubs and activities in different organizations. However, for many students, there are many ways to be involved both inside and outside of the classroom. And one of those ways is through student employment. So I'm happy to introduce to you tonight the coordinator for career and student employment, as well as a director for financial aid. And Ann Mitchell is I forgot to say her name when I said that. Ann Mitchell is our coordinator for career and student employment, and Elisa Watt is our director of financial aid.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, President Elliott, Mary Lou, students, staff, community members, and friends. I'm happy to be here tonight and highlight the career and student employment services. With me tonight is Ann Mitchell, who's sitting back there. However, she has recently had dental work, so that impedes her from being able to speak clearly tonight. So PowerPoint presentation for you tonight. The mission of the Career and Student Employment Services Office is to assist students with career development, lifelong learning, and to connect them with the employer, providing them with the tools and knowledge necessary to enter the workforce. We do this by providing the following services. We provide career assessments. These are tools such as the Arizona Career Information System, also known as the AZCIS system, My Next Move, ONET, and various other career inventories. These are tools for career and educational planning and research that the students are able to use. We have annual job events held at our 5 campuses. We have on-campus student employment through federal and institutional funding sources. A literacy program where our students go out to the community at nonprofit organizations to promote reading and math literacy to K through 6th grade levels. Through our job location and development program, employers come on campus to interview students for available positions within their company. And because we receive funding through our federal work study program, we are required to have at least 7% of those funds used for community service. And so we do this by employing students in our theater, libraries, and learning centers. We had quite a few accomplishments last year that I'd like to highlight. So last year we had about a 22% increase in student participation in our personal and professional development workshops held throughout the district. And these workshops consist of resume building, interview skills, and work ethics. We held annual job fairs and expos at all of our 5 campuses last year with a total of 105 exhibitors and 695 students and community members who attended these events. Last year we had approximately 200 to 250 students who were hired across the district. And these on-campus jobs provide students with real-world work experience and transferable skills that they will use in their future careers. Through our job location and development program, although we don't have available data for last year, the year prior, which was the 14-15 year, we helped a total of 113 students find off-campus jobs while attending our college with a total earnings of over $200,000. Quite a few accomplishments there. So what you see in this slide is our latest press release where we encourage employers. Was that me? Okay, I'll take it from here. Okay. So in this press release, we encouraged employers to consider a CAC student to fill their vacancies in their company. We invite employers to come on campus to recruit and interview students for available positions that they may have. We also encourage them to post their available positions in our online CAC job board. And this is access to all of our current enrolled students. I'm afraid to push the button too fast. Okay, here we go. On the horizon. So this year we've got quite a few goals. We're looking at the possibility of partnering with local businesses, schools, chambers, and employment agencies to discuss having county-wide job fairs. So this would take place of our campus job fair. So we're looking at joining and partnering with these local businesses, a lot of which already have job fairs that they hold of their own, and partnering and making bigger events. We're looking at hosting one in the spring this upcoming year, and then semester by semester thereafter. We're looking at increasing our literacy partnerships by providing reading and math tutors to K through 5 schools and expanding the Boys and Girls Club to the location in Apache Junction as well. So we're looking at establishing a county-wide initiative that would bring together employers and educators to establish a program for underemployed individuals to receive additional training to help them advance in their existing careers. And we're also going to be developing a work readiness seminar, which will be held, happened again. Okay, thank you. Which we're looking at having our first seminar in the spring of 2017 here at the Signal Peak campus. And this is an opportunity to help students, alumni, and community members get prepared for the workforce and help them create the documents necessary for them to submit to those employers, especially at the job fairs that we're going to be hosting. So that pretty much sums up my presentation. Any questions?
Yes, ma'am. How many employers participated? I saw you had 105 exhibitors. Were all those employers seeking
Yes,
employment?
they were.
Okay, great. And do you do any kind of employment retention statistics? How many of those kids that are hired stay on for 30 years?
Through the Job Development and Location Program, we do. We do, and those were the 113 students that we held the year, that we helped the year 14-15, that were currently enrolled students and kept the jobs after they left enrollment. And that's the goal, and that's the hope. We don't provide job placement directly for our graduates. Our accreditor doesn't require us to do that, but we try making jobs available, help students to obtain those jobs and keep those jobs past their enrollment here.
Right, great. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions?
Madam President,
Sorry about that.
this is pretty interesting data.
It is.
Someone who gets a job and keeps it seems to me like a pretty good measure of student success. Is there anywhere where we use that kind of data in accreditation or any other parts and pieces, or is this something that we just kind of accumulate and use as an opportunity to demonstrate the value of our programs?
I can speak to that a little bit. Through all of our certificate programs, well, almost all of them, are also considered gainful employment programs. And there are federal regulations that require us to provide disclosures to our students that will provide, with the education in this certificate, students can obtain these occupations. And those occupations then align to the ONET system, which provides salary information, things of that nature. So although we don't catch it specifically or capture the information specifically to our CAC students, our academic programs do align with the federal regulations that would qualify them as gainful employment programs as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam President, may I have the floor for a minute? This summer, I was given an opportunity to participate in a survey, a rather unusual one. Due to a variety of reasons, I had an opportunity to go to several medical clinics and doctor's offices, etc. And of the 4 locations that I went to in various cities in the Valley, one of my first questions when I'm being treated or talked to employees are usually medical people, of course. And so I always ask them the typical question: where did you go to school? Where did you get your certificate? Well, I did very well that this summer. I talked to several people, and 4 of them were all CAC graduates. And so just one occurred a couple weeks ago. As I said, I was unfortunate enough to be in 4 different medical locations this summer, but all four of them were probably under the age of 35 and probably over 25, 3 females and 1 male. And all four of them said one thing in particular. They liked the small classes and a smaller college to get their medical training. And so I compliment not just the college, but our medical programs here. So I'll try not to do that next summer, but if it happens, it's always fun when someone's treating you or working on you and you see the little badge, you ask them where they went to school, and they say, have you ever heard of Central Arizona College? Sorta. I congratulate you, because I think that's a perfect example of what happened to me this summer.
Great, great. Good to hear. Thank you very much.
Jenny, does that complete yours? Okay. Next, we have, better look, Academic Affairs Report from Dr. Mary Kay Gillilund.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, President Elliott, colleagues, students, and guests. Before I introduce our brief presentation from Academic Affairs, I just want to say 2 quick things. I also want to acknowledge the increase in enrollments. It doesn't sound like a very large percentage, but it is really important. We're moving in the right direction. And lots of hard work on the college affairs side and also on the academic affairs side, collaboratively and in lots of places to teach well, to reach out to students, to make sure they get enrolled in the right classes. And I just think we're doing so much good work. I want to acknowledge all of those people who are involved, from faculty and advisors to the leadership, and it's really been a concerted effort, and it's starting to show a little bit. I also want to comment that our TACT grant, which Dr. Banks had asked a question about, has really increased our enrollment in certain programs. It is a grant that got off to a rather rocky start here at the college for a whole lot of reasons within the consortium, but has really taken off. We have some newly remodeled areas that are fabulous, and I learned today that our welding program is busy. Its facilities are busy from 7:30 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, Monday through Friday, and we could fill more classes if we actually had more facilities and more faculty. But we are doing astoundingly well with that program, and part of it is that infusion of the grant and all the hard work that went into that. So these are the kinds of things that really move the college in the right direction in terms of education, workforce, enrollments, and those kinds of things. So great work, everybody. Tonight we have 2 presentations from Academic Affairs, and one of them is another one of our grants, and everybody loves to say Project Puente. We've all had the pleasure, many of us have had the pleasure of participating in the capstone event, but we have our Dean, Dr. Janice Pratt, who's going to tell you a little bit more about that event.
My colleague Dean Foster will be helping me drive tonight. So, good evening, Governing Board President Ms. Christensen, board members, Dr. Elliott, colleagues, guests, and students. I'm going to give you this wonderful presentation, but an update about Project Puente. Before I go into the formal presentation that I would do to a governing board, I just want to comment on a wonderful occasion that we had on July 25th at the Maricopa Agricultural Center. We attended a divine dinner with about 130 other people. Many people from CAC attended that dinner as well, including Dr. Elliott, Dr. Gilliland, Chris Wadka, Maggie. Who else went to Project? Oh, Diane Beecroft. A lot of us were there. And the purpose of that event was to celebrate the findings of the 30 students that participated in an internship that summer. And this is where students had gone out into the hot summer desert or sat behind some computer equipment, doing repetitive research, getting their numbers together. And then after they got the whole summary completed, they put it together in the form of a poster, spread them all right around the walls of the Maricopa Agricultural Center, and then one by one, they gave the presentation to the audience. And I think many of us commented that far away, some of the words we didn't know how to pronounce or look up in a thesaurus because they were very complex terms, and we were just so impressed by what they did and what had been accomplished that summer. So let's get right down to it, and I'll give you some more information. As you'll remember, Project Puente is a bridge to higher education from the USDA grant, and we always want to be sure that we acknowledge the importance of the USDA and the others for the Hispanic grant that we enjoy. Next slide. The overall grant objectives were to exceed the count by 20 participants, and this summer we exceeded that by 90%. We had 38 participants, nearly double the number of participants we could have had. And this is due to the great work of our grant coordinator, Mr. Marshall Logvin, our valued partners with University Arid Lands Agricultural Research Center, the Maricopa Agricultural Center, MAC, Crystal, lots of other faculty that have been with our science department who did a fabulous job in helping this thing getting going. That's Crystal McKenna, who is our faculty in science. So, following this, the intern and research comments were collected and obtained by Dr. Albert Fortier, the external evaluator for the project. Those are external evaluators that we have for all of our projects. And I'm going to summarize some of the internship program evaluations. Next slide. There are comments throughout all of these, but let's emphasize just the student ones. What do you say? Okay. In this particular one, the student says, my scientists exposed me to real challenges that researchers go through, as well as provided me with valuable advice. Next slide. This one was, the internship was amazing, and I am so thankful for this wonderful opportunity. Next one. My scientists reminded me how important work can be. Oftentimes people just work, but my experience here showed me how much I could contribute to society through science. The equipment instruments I used during the internship helped me learn science concepts and research better. This internship was very fun. We like to hear the word fun with education, and educational. The scientists and the faculty I got to work with were very nice and very eager to help. In total, this internship was a fantastic way to spend my summer. So, and then on this following slide, and I won't read these all to you, but I just want to make a summative comment. Out of this internship project, students got employed. One more example of getting some good employment. And this is a list of some of the scientific and other job opportunities that students were able to engage in after or through contacts made during this internship. And then this other comments were, next slide. Some of the other intern comments were, the scientists were provided everything I needed to be successful. This increased my opportunity to go to, or thinking about going to college. Now I'm 100% that I'm going to go to college now. I am more likely to achieve college because of this. The equipment was helpful. The lab field activities in the internship helped me understand science better. And overall, it was very worthwhile. And then the last one, which is really the testament, is I would be interested in returning for another internships. And 89% of the students surveyed agreed with that statement. So now I need to tell you that my colleague, Marshall Logvin, when I asked him to please get some information so I could have it available to you, I had another 26 slides, but we're not going to do that now. So what I thought I would do is just tell you that stay tuned. There will probably be some future updates on Project Puente. We're hoping to see if we can get some snippets from the video of the celebratory night. Do you have any questions about this grant or its purpose? Comments, questions?
Sounds wonderful.
It is fun, isn't it? It's always fun to talk about student success. Thank you very much.
I have to look for the little clicker here. All right. Last, I suppose, in the list of presentations, I have the honor of continuing to slog through the HLC standards. The summer came and went, and the HLC standards continue. So this is part of ongoing accreditation education. And I don't know if I'm happy or sorry to report to you that you'll probably get more of this from me as we go forward, because I now have a more direct role in leading accreditation, at least for the short run here at the college, possibly for the longer run. But this is really important. It tends to make everybody a little bit tired and maybe even a little bored at the end of the evening, but it is really the heart and soul of what we're doing. It does help us reflect on our work and make sure that we're staying on top of all aspects of what we're supposed to be doing as an institution of higher education. So this is HLC Standard 4, and I am going to have to figure this out. Let's see. Where do I click? I'm not used to this. Why is it not clicking? Oh, the wrong one. Okay. Easier? Okay, perfect. That's going to work. If you remember, Criterion 3 was about teaching and learning. Criterion 4 is also about teaching and learning. The Criterion 3 had to do with the content of our teaching and learning and the support services, our faculty and staff, and the direct resources that we provide for students. This Criterion 4 reminds me of a funny little phrase that stuck in my head from many years ago. I was part of a program where we had some leadership coaching, and my coach had urged us all to inspect what we expect. It was kind of a corny phrase, but it's one of those that it sticks in your mind. This particular criterion about teaching and learning is really about doing that. We set out with the expectations of providing high quality education to a variety of our population, and in many different, going many different directions, CTE, transfer education, personal development. This criterion asks us to make sure that we are actually looking at what we're doing, evaluating what we're doing, and working on continuous improvement, an ongoing theme for the Higher Learning Commission. So this is about evaluation and improvement. And, okay. Did I? Okay. I skipped over it. No, I didn't. I need evaluation and improvement in PowerPoint. I will point out, however, this is just kind of a little funny thing. Jenny and I both put together our PowerPoints on the same day, and for some reason we chose the same template, and we found each other at the printer. This is a while ago, not right before the meeting. We found each other looking at these and laughing. Anyway, the technology piece is not my forte, so I'm going to have to practice. The core components include primarily that the institution is demonstrating responsibility for the quality of educational programs. And I'm going to sort of zip through this, that this actually includes all of the activities we engage in that are kind of behind the scenes. Program reviews, looking at the policies that assure quality of education, our ongoing monitoring of course materials, curriculum, prerequisites, the rigor of courses, expectations, and also maintaining not just HLC accreditation, but specialized accreditation in programs such as nursing, early childhood education, and many other areas where we have an additional layer of accreditation, all of the health sciences, of course. Another big piece of this is assessment, which is a word that people have come to learn to dread. I really want to change this word to learning improvement or something that's a little friendlier. But assessment has to do not just with assessing students with grades, but assessing all of our programs and whether we're meeting our institutional outcomes. And that's something we'll probably talk about at another meeting in greater length. And then this just goes through a little bit more about our commitment to assessment, which is not just in the classroom, but co-curricular in all of our activities throughout the college, that we're all part of teaching and learning, whether we're in front of the class teaching directly or whether we are providing many different kinds of services to students. And I think in an earlier presentation, I talked about the role of the board, and the board is also involved in that process and is part of the assessment process. So. And then finally, retention, persistence, and completion is another thing that we are important, that we must monitor and make sure that we are not just getting students in, but we're helping them achieve their goals. And that we have a commitment to success and we follow good practices. So that is HLC Criterion 4 in a nutshell. And thank you very much for your patience. Does anybody have any questions about this one? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, next we have the consent agenda, and the following items are consent matters unless they are removed from the consent agenda at this time. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda by any board member. Do I hear a motion for removal of anything or a motion to accept the agenda as written?
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor of that motion, please signify by aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. Am I missing anything? I guess this is the next one. Okay. Discussion with possible action on combined resolutions affecting county treasurer's transactions for fiscal year 2016-2017. Mr. Watka.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening once again, everyone. This action item is something that is standard operating procedures. Perhaps for the new board member, we approve this resolution typically at every June board meeting, but with the anticipation of our new president early July, we did talk to the county saying that we'd just like to get all our resolutions and our signatory authorities taken care of after July 1st, and that was fine with them. And this is our first meeting, obviously, after July 1st. So this is combined resolutions for fiscal year 16-17, authorizing the district governing board to consent to the Pinal County Board of Supervisors to invest and reinvest all the district monies. It also gives district authorization for myself and Dr. Elliott to provide warrant information, including wires, etc. Authorization of myself, Dr. Elliott, and Louis Saat to process wire transfers. Louis Saat is also authorized to process wire transfers for financial aid only from the general fund. It's standard operating procedure. Be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, we do need formal approval.
Questions? No, you're just removing your glasses? Okay. Yes, no questions.
Thank you.
Are we looking at me, Dan?
I was, but just on behalf of the new board member, may I ask, the only change in the signatures was Dr. Elliott for Dr. Moore?
Correct.
Okay. Yes, that was all. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next board meeting is September 20. No, am I missing something?
Need a motion?
We have a motion. We have a motion on the table.
That was a motion one. I'm sorry. That's right, with possible action. Do I hear a motion for that, to accept that?
I move to accept that particular motion, Madam.
Was that a motion that you were making? I'm sorry, I did
My
not
colleague
understand
is
it. I thought
happy
it was a
to-
question.
No, I was going to, but my colleague.
Okay, so you can second, huh?
I will second, yes.
Okay.
I second the motion.
All in favor of such motion, please signify by aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. Now, our next board meeting is September 20th at the Maricopa campus at 6:30 p.m. And we've finished with all the agenda items, so the meeting is now adjourned.